Joey Reese and Billy Boot Shop.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the paid portion. So Reese and I 2 days ago, because today is a Monday. On Saturday, me and him recorded the first part, and we had to stop because of time constraints. And today, we're trying to get in that second for all you Patreon subscribers and all that good stuff. We thank you for that. So I'm going to pull up my show notes because we want to finish talking about what we were talking about the other day. And one of our listeners asked us, are there, I think this is some good stuff to think about. Were there can you think of some impactful moments, good or bad, that shaped Five Iron?
Yes.
Tell.
So 5 Minute Walk was always good at doing kind of benevolent things. And we got asked by this group in South Africa if we would come out and play shows and then help. They had a bunch of kids coming from the United States as missionaries to do like a 2-week mission trip. So we were going to hang out with them all, do cool things with them, play shows. And then they went and did missions work. But part of it was that we had to play a show in this town called Puta de Jaba, which is near Lesotho. And,
Common spelling.
South Africa. Yeah.
Common spelling.
It looks like Lesotho.
Right.
But they say Lesotho, and they speak the language Sotho, which is Sotho.
Yeah, that's how I thought it would be spelled.
Well, so part of apartheid was that, that white people and black people shouldn't mix, and they kind of agreed that like separating different tribes and races would kind of end the conflict that was going on in Africa between different tribal units and especially in South Africa. So it was like this really archaic plan that the government had. And it was realized in that they made 2 little nation states. They made Swaziland and Lesotho. And it was, I don't know if they were, I'm going to have to look this up. I don't know if they were governed by South Africa. I think they gave them independence, but they're like right in the middle. And it was more just to keep, with this idea that they had that people shouldn't, that would stop the fighting. My argument is, if you stopped oppressing black people, that would also stop the fighting, but they didn't listen to me. So
no, why would anybody?
I know. I was like, I thought they were like, Reese, I thought you ended racism when you were on the Sky Against Racism tour. And apparently I did. I keep having to do it. You and I did it the other day. But
you didn't realize that it was going to be a yearly thing. You just thought it was one tour and done. No,
it's tireless work here at the Pickle and Boot Shop.
It is.
And I don't know. I mean, I need just a short vacation or something. Yeah.
All this social justice fighting is tiring.
And I'm worn the frick out. But you're drinking Pepsi, zero sugar.
Pepsi Max today.
I'm drinking the Canada Dry, zero sugar.
Yeah,
but no booze in it.
I'm gonna try not to booze until June 17th.
That's a long time.
That's a month. I'm gonna try and
probably when people are hearing this, they're gonna be like, "That's in 3 days, Joe. I think you can make it."
Right? Exactly. You can't make it 24 hours. Yeah.
Well, good.
That's
good
exactly
you,
it.
Joe.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
You get the shakes.
Oh, that'd be funny. Exactly.
Start hearing voices.
Mm-hmm. I got to make it to tomorrow.
It's fine.
So let's get back. Impactful moments.
Yeah. So part of it was we went to this township. South Africa, I don't know what it's like now. I would love to go back because it was really cool and really nice. We went in.
We'll put it on the list for the Pickle and Boot live tour.
All right, South Africa.
We're bringing pickles and boots.
Yeah. Oh man.
To the world. We're bringing pickles and boots to the world.
Boots World Tour.
Mm-hmm.
So it was soon after apartheid, like maybe within 5 years after it having ended, that we went. It was 2000, 1999 maybe. So it was kind of tense, and they were like, well, it's like a first world country. There's places where you're going to go where it's like you're in a third world country. Well, it came really fast. Like you didn't have to be that acute of your senses to be like, oh, the third world part is where you put the black people, and the other part is where the white people live. And there you just drive through like Johannesburg, and you'd be like, you'd see these 12-foot walls around people's houses with concertina wire. And then all of a sudden you'd hit a township, and there'd be ladies walking with all kinds of stuff balanced on their heads and waiting for some minivan to come pick up like 30 people, and dogs everywhere and kids without pants. And you were just like, this is so disgustingly evil. I don't know, like, our country has quite a history of just institutionalizing racism and making that be our program, but it's different to just all of a sudden be in that. Like it would be like going back in time to like the 30s in the South.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. It was shocking. So we went with this group. We did play shows. We played, like in Pretoria, which is one of their capitals, and it was like we played at some bar, this cool ska band called Leak and the Bouncing Uptones. So good. Played at this bar, punk rock. Like we played at a skate park all day. Just so many really cool shows. And then went with these kids, and we went to this town called Pudadijaba, and we were told, we're going to show you guys are going to put on a show, and it'll bring people in from the township because nobody's like going out there to play music. So just do it, and then we'll show the Jesus film. So there was another dude, like a pastor out there, that was supposed to bring the Jesus film, and he just never showed up. So it was like, they're just like, well, this is Africa. He may show up in 3 days. This is just how it goes. And we're like, well, we got to leave in 3 days.
You're like, well, we better start writing the set list.
Yeah, I don't think the people at Delta Airlines are on this same
it's going to be like
calendar.
A Fish concert.
No. So the first thing is that, like, it was same thing, just like this stark transition between where the white people lived and the black people. But then, like, we stayed in these old military barracks that they had abandoned, or that like became like a community center. So it was June when we left, and we were like, it's the Southern Hemisphere, but this is also Africa. Everybody was like, yeah, just, we'll bring a sweatshirt or something. And we at night were in these barracks just freezing our asses off, just like putting on every piece of clothing you had to stay warm and sleeping on cots. So that was a bit crazy. And it was like straight up army barracks. Like everything was cinder block and stuff. But that was it was nice because in the township, it was like a lot of shanties just kind of strung together. There were buildings, like there was some infrastructure, but then a lot of the people just lived in these shanties. And then there was like a dump on the edge of town. And most of the mission work that this group did was with orphan kids that either their folks had died of AIDS or they had AIDS and they were just abandoned in this dump. And these kids, they couldn't get enough food. There was no social programs to get them food, so they would just sniff glue, like to fight off the hunger pains until they went crazy. So,
Oh, jeez.
yeah. So it was rough. And the community center.
I don't want to be that guy, but there was an abundance of glue, but not food.
Yeah, I don't know. Exactly.
You're like, there's modeling glue everywhere, but yeah, there's not an apple.
Factory was right on the edge. I don't know how these guys got glue or inhalants, but they said specifically a lot of glue was being sniffed. So,
jeez.
Yeah, really hard. So we got to this community center and it was like there were bullet holes in the glass, just holes in the roof where pigeons would just fly in while you're playing. Just super janky.
And that just sounds like a normal Insider show here in the States.
Sure. It sounds like Detroit.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yep.
They somehow had like a PA built into this place and they got it running. It was like everything was like all on these old transistor tubes and stuff, and got this thing running. We were waiting forever to do sound check. And part of what was crazy is there was like a school, like a preschool, and they used this building and the area around it like as their playground because they didn't have any space. So it was like teachers kind of leading the kids around. They'd come in and watch us play, or we'd play with the kids because there was no playground equipment. And we made friends with these kids who were super cool. You know, like they would come up and they like their English would be okay. But then they also spoke Afrikaans and like 2 tribal languages, and they're 4. So we let it slide. And
you're like, but next time we come through.
And you're like, you kids better be speaking perfect English.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm an idiot.
I don't want to hear one tinge of whatever it's called.
Sutu.
Yeah.
And they
I don't.
and Zulu.
I don't want to hear one accent on a vowel.
They really did the talking with the clicking. They'd be like, and that whole thing. And you're like,
oh,
this is real. This is really happening.
You thought you were like, I only thought this was in really racist movies.
Only in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. When Nature Calls.
Yeah.
That's the only
Excuse
time.
me. I think your balls are showing.
So these kids kind of grabbed us and they're like, come on, you're American rock stars. Come on. And they started leading us through the town. And up to this point, we had just gotten some kind of crusty looks. So these kids drag us into the town. It's like me and Brad and Leonore, maybe Micah, taking us into like barber shops and grocery stores. And I've never felt like so many people wanted to kill me. Like so many people just straight up just like, what the fuck are white people doing here? Just like anywhere. And these kids just were taking us everywhere, and you're just getting daggers like looked at you like you're gonna die. You're dead. So we were just kind of rolling with it, but the kids would go up to the grown-ups and they'd be like, these are American rock stars like Michael Jackson. And it would just break.
You're like exactly like Michael Jackson.
Exactly like I am Michael Jackson. My first name is Michael. Can we just agree on that?
And my middle name is Jackson.
Middle name Jackson.
Last name Roper.
After the kids said that and we started talking to them and they heard our American accents, it changed. Like all of a sudden they were like, you're not them. You're not the people that have been beating, my uncle or whatever for most of his life. It just switched. And all of a sudden they were just like, this is so cool. Come over to my shop. So we went for hours just being drugged around the town by these preschoolers to these places.
So then you
and
guys
just
went to
talk
buy
people.
blankets. You went to buy blankets because you were so cold, and they're like, "Oh, $3," and you're like, $3.
Bags.
How about a buck?
We did get blankets or sleeping bags, I think, but there was
how
no
much-
haggling.
How much for these 10 sleeping bags? $20 for all 10. You're like, whatever.
Come
I'll go
on.
to Ghana. They're half off.
God,
We'll get all of them for
North
$5.
Zaire.
Yeah, all of them for $5. They're like, okay, $5. And you're like, yeah, I got you.
$5. Sucker.
Yeah, you're like, there's a sucker born every day.
How much glue can you buy for $5?
Yeah. How much glue do I
Oh.
get for this Andrew Jackson? Oh, that's funny.
So
I'm about to make a whole
like-
lot of kids happy. Can I get a case of glue, please? Yeah, can I get
Christmas.
can I get 8 candy bars, a 2-liter of Coca-Cola, and a case of glue
Candy bars in the Coker for me.
for me? Yeah.
I'm gonna eat them in
Yeah,
front of
I'm
these
just
kids
gonna-
while they sniff glue.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna rot their teeth, so they shouldn't eat all this sugar.
Right. So like all of a sudden the grown-ups were like warming up to us, and we'd be like, well, come to this concert, it's free. And they were like, okay. And they packed the place out. And it was crazy
Wow.
because most of the people didn't speak English very well. So we'd be like, did you like that song? And some people would be like, they can't understand you. So we just play songs, and then we're like, they like this. Like we had solidarity, which is just like whatever ethnic group we were ripping off. Hispanics. We played that and they loved it. So we played it 3 times. Or
heck yeah.
we just be like, the more ska stuff is what they want. And so we
Yeah.
just keep playing that and ended up playing for
Sonny
like
and
2
Micah don't have
hours.
any fingernails left because they've been playing for 5 hours straight. They just have like bloody nubs. Oh,
Keep playing.
Leonor's lips are just blistered from the reeds, and yeah.
And meanwhile, I feel great because of
Yeah.
my Coke and candy bars.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's good. So, like the impact that had moving forward, like when you came back to the States, did you find? Because I mean, let's be honest. Like some people, maybe some listeners, have gone and experienced like a missions trip, and then they come back
Yeah.
and they're really gung ho, and then what happens is, you get. Like other people weren't there to experience your passion and all that stuff. And then you kind of get like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I want to do this. And
Yeah.
then people are like, well, we don't have the money for that. We don't have money. And they don't see your vision. They didn't. So when you came back as 5 Iron, did things change quickly, or did you still try and use that momentum from that like missions trip to
Yeah, we did.
change 5 Iron, to do something with 5 Iron?
Yeah, I think so. We kind of developed this plan in 5 Iron, and I wish we had done it at the beginning. I think it would have made us last longer that first time. But Came up with
Was
this
that
idea.
plan? Was that plan? My evil plan to save the world. Just you wait till it's
that's
unfurled.
exactly what it was.
That's what I thought. But tell the listeners in case they don't know that.
Yeah, we had an evil plan to save the world. Now, what it was is we came up with this idea. I think I came up with it. We called it the Robin Hood theorem.
Okay.
It sounds like
I'm
one
guessing
of
there's
my
some
ideas.
sort of stealing from the rich and giving to the poor.
So we're like, look, we none of us like playing these church shows. We don't like doing it, but it pays the bills. Let's
Yeah.
just tell Frank, like it's stressing Frank out to do all this church stuff, and then have us complain about it. Like, let's just do it. Let's do one church tour, and then we're going to do one general market tour. And then in between, we're going to do, we want like every tour to have some sort of beneficial thing. And hopefully, we were hoping we could go back and do more trips like that, where we were going with like a missions organization. And so we totally started trying to go for shows like that. So we would literally tell Frank, we just want the highest paying church shows. Like, don't embarrass us or yourself. Don't put us in a place where we're going to be being asked for an altar call, which he never did. I think he would just have a speech, for people beforehand. He's like, they may not do an altar call. Sometimes they sing worship songs, but they're just going to pray about it. And so if it happens, they're going to, if they feel like the Spirit is leading them, they're going to do it. And so we did that, and we ended up, like trying to go Christian tour, secular tour. We helped with we found a friend of Frank's had started a school in Kenya, and they needed buildings so they could create an orphanage for their school. So we started just doing that on our Christian tours, where we would try and build them buildings and earn stuff for that. And then there was an orphanage in Tijuana that we worked with, and just about every tour from that point on with the Christian tours, we would try and gather something, like gather socks or soup or cans of food or pants. Pants were it was a big deal when we made our EP, because we had the pants songs. So we collected pants for the homeless. And then socks. Socks came about, I think, because after the pants thing, people were like, they don't want pants. You know what people need is a clean pair of socks. This is what homeless people want, is clean socks. And so we did the whole sock puppet tour.
I think we did that on Holy Rollers tour. I think Holy Rollers tour, there was I think that you collected socks on that one. Or gloves. It was either like gloves or socks. Yeah. But I remember it was something.
Yeah. But I think that we had that in us, but I think just going on that trip to South Africa, that really, it had a big impact on us. And I think it had a huge impact on me as a nurse. Like I decided I liked that more than being a rock star. I liked helping people and that feeling like I'm helping people. And so I think for me as a nurse, I've always tried to, me becoming a nurse, and then I've always been polarized to work in like really low income Medicare, Medicaid nursing homes. So yeah, it had a big impact on me.
Yeah. I was thinking of stuff like mine isn't as impactful and big, and that's why I wanted you to really have the time to explain your story. Like the Insiders, we didn't go on like band missions trips. We didn't do those types of things. We came from the Salvation Army. Like we as guys came from the Salvation Army, and a lot of the Salvation Army is missions type things. They call it Summer Service Corps, where a lot of students, like every summer, if you attend the Salvation Army as your church, in the summer, there's tons of opportunities to go all over the world to different places. I never did it, but plenty of guys in our band did. So like the impactful moments for me were on a much smaller level. But I remember one thing that always like really stuck with me was we were playing Heart and Soul in the Heart and Soul Cafe in Chicago. And so when we were playing there, we had gotten in there. I forget who was opening for us. Maybe it was Squad 5-0. I can't remember. But it was one of those early shows. And we were, trying to make a name for ourselves, and we play, and we're the Insiders from Detroit, and it's like a really good showing. And so maybe Dear Ephesus, I think that's who it was. Dear Ephesus like opened the show. everything went well. And then like on their last song, the PA system blew. So the PA system was done, and like nothing was able to be like switched out. Nothing was a quick fix. And so, do you remember Ed and Dan in Chicago? So those guys, like, they get up on stage and they're like, sorry guys, like the insiders aren't like able to go on. Like the PA is done. So what we did is we were like, well, we're still going to play. So Kyle went and got an acoustic guitar. And then, so he goes and gets an acoustic. And then Nate just had, I think maybe even Todd was still in the band at that time. So Todd had all like his percussion, like his bongos and kungas.
Yeah.
And so Kyle played guitar. And it was one of those like hippie things where we told everybody to sit down. So like everybody sat on the floor.
How many people were there?
From what I remember, it was probably like maybe like 300.
That's so
it was probably
cool,
like,
dude.
yeah, it was, I mean, you know, that was like a little like kind of coffee house type place, and it was packed. And so they had everyone like quiet down. And then Kyle, we didn't play insider songs. We basically just did a worship set. So we just played worship songs, and Kyle played, and then there were bongos and kungas. And so we went like an hour and just singing with everybody who came. And it wasn't our crap. We were singing just praise and worship.
Cool.
And so it was something that like for us, it was something that like every time we came through Chicago, and like still to this day, like people talk to us about it, or, you know, hey, I was at that show where the PA, you know, blew and you guys could have, you know, just driven away, but you didn't. You stuck around, you did this. And so that was always like a real impactful thing. And in fact, the guys from Flatfoot 56, like when they were all kids, man, I mean, you know, those guys, Tobin and Kyle and them, like when
Tobin
they were
was
kids.
still 6 foot tall when he was 8.
8. Yeah. He was 8 years old and he was 6'2". And so they were coming to the shows, like their parents brought them to the shows. And so they would come and they would like hang out with us. And I think they opened for us once. They may even open for us that show. But they would open and stuff. And so we would hang out with like them and their family and all that stuff. And so like they were there. I'm almost positive we played that place so much, but that was just something that was like real, real, real cool to me.
Yeah.
You know, and then another super impactful one was we've talked about him on the show before, but our first manager, Tony Weatherly. Yeah. And, you know, things get crazy and life gets crazy, but Tony was such an impactful person at the beginning of our career. And he started, like, again, we've talked about it on the show. He started the Fringe nightclub in Livonia, Michigan, and he was bringing like bands in. He was so far ahead of the curve. He was bringing bands in and Christian bands in like early 7 Day Jesus and Black Eyed Siva and Plank Eye and all them were coming through Detroit on the regular because of this guy. And Tony made that so huge and just made this scene just like an amazing. I mean, again, I saw Plank Eye and 7 Day Jesus with like 25 people in the room. And 4 months later, anybody, it didn't matter who the band was. If the Fringe was throwing a show, if there was a show, there were 600 kids there. It was a place where kids like in those mid to late 90s just knew like I can go here. I can tell my parents that I'm going to like, you know, a church, like a Christian show. And so kids just came in droves, and it was a fantastic thing. And just being a part of that, I've never been like, I know this is going to come as a shock to you, but I've never been like a trendsetter, you know, like I've never had the fashion before everybody else had the fashion. I've never been.
You didn't have a T-shirt like this that says "I hate Firearm Frenzy," but it's
no, but I want one.
All right.
No, but I want one. It's my daughter. My daughter has that FIF sticker on the back of her car.
Yeah.
And she's constantly being asked, "Who is FIF?" by all these high school kids. But
This is my hold on.
oh, heck yeah. Oh, that's real cool. Yeah, that's real
You
cool.
seen that one?
I haven't. That's great. And for those of you guys that are
5-iron and the Raiders.
yes, that's fantastic. It's an Oakland Raiders, now Las Vegas Raiders logo, and it says 5-iron, and then underneath it says sucks. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so I've never been like cutting edge of anything. And so I think that was extremely impactful for me that, I was able to watch that club grow, watch the scene grow, and then come out of that scene has, that's just endeared me to countless people, in the area, in other bands, all that stuff. And then the Weatherly family. So Tony, his wife, Linda, I mean, they were just great. And so then when we got big enough, Tony took over as like our first manager in the Midwest and was phenomenal. And, got us all these connections, got us into places, got us on shows and stuff like that. And then the time came where it was kind of like we were like the birds that were ready to kind of stretch our wings out a little bit more than just the Midwest. And then we ended up going with Tim Tabor on like a national level. But Tony, I mean, without Tony, we wouldn't have done anything. I mean, we wouldn't have been the Insiders. We wouldn't have been one of the big three. None of that stuff without him. And I'm trying to think of like, go on.
Oh, he was just such a cool dude. He was so like he really cared about the bands coming through.
Absolutely.
I always just remember him just talking to us about how we were doing, and he fed us well. He was a real brother. He was a good guy.
Yeah. It wasn't the business stuff. And I think that's what endeared us to Tony at the beginning was we saw his heart, and it wasn't this guy that's like, oh, I can make a quick buck off these Insiders. Cause I don't think he ever did make a buck off us. I don't think we made a buck off us. But, that's what it was. It was more of like a father, hey, you're going out in this new thing. I'm going to like teach you how to do this. I know a little bit about this. And so that's what was great about Tony was to get that and to have him as like this guy that we could trust. This in a shady business, especially the Christian scene. Like people don't understand it. I think we've touched on it before. People don't understand it. When you're in the secular market, when you're in the mainstream playing shows, you expect people not to have scruples. You expect to get taken advantage of. You don't expect it in a Christian market where there's Christian record labels that are, everything is run and sold off Jesus. And you get screwed over more in the Christian scene than you do in the mainstream, in the mainstream scene.
Way more.
So that was always tough, but Tony helped us through that. So he was a big impactful part for us. I can't think of, it says impactful like good or bad. I don't necessarily know if I can point to like one instance that was like necessarily a bad impactful for the Insiders. Like we always pretty much stuck to our guns. Like we had our kind of our mission statement and our code of conduct as to how we carried ourselves. So we never went anywhere where it was like, oh, well, when we toured with the Pussycat Dolls, we discovered strip clubs. Like we didn't do any of that stuff. You know what I mean? So
we did when we toured with them.
Yeah, right. You were like, we made up for it. Yeah. So for me, it's just like, I can't really think of any bad impactful. I think maybe what self-reflection and looking back on things, I think a negative impact was what you talked about with the Robin Hood theory. And I think what ruined it and like takes your passion and your zeal for what you start off as an 18 to 24-year-old who's got eyes of wonder, and you have the energy to go at it. And when people tell you not to, you're like, screw you. Like, this is my plan. And so you have that at that age. And what I think for me stunk and was, I think, a negative impactful is when it was done, looking back on the insider's career and how we had to make decisions based on money and not based on our vision, like our mission. And so, yeah, we ended up, you end up playing the Christian shows and doing the Christian tours and all that stuff. And it was just like, I think we squandered, it was cool. I was able to buy a house, but when the housing market went bust, our house, we went bankrupt. So
Yeah.
we had to walk away from that house that I sent.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I spent every dime of my savings, like with the insiders. Like I had a really nice little chunk there, and Leslie and I put it down on, to buy our house, and we had to walk away from it. So it was awful. So it was like those types of things where that doesn't have anything to do with that. That was just a side whatever. But in that Christian scene where, you're playing a church for 10 grand. Like, oh, you want the insiders? They're 10 grand. So that like church, that like youth pastor,
But you need to clarify, you weren't 10 grand. It's whoever was booking you, like a church would call up and there'd be some goofy dude and they'd be like, well, I'm going to throw out a number that they can't touch so that they just, they'll just walk away. And some of those people would buy it. They'd just be like, oh, okay, 10 grand. All right, we can come up with that. And then you're playing that church for 10 grand.
Yeah. And the thing is, if you were playing like the mega churches, I get it. Like cash flows through mega churches, and I don't have a problem taking a mega church's, check. And people listening understand what I'm saying. So if you have like a mega church in the area, that mega church, it's no sweat off their back to cut that check to have the insiders come in. And then if they invite all the smaller churches that would never be able to bring in the insiders, that's awesome. Like that is win, 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 win all the way around. What was terrible, and we've been a part of these shows, and I'm sure you have too, where, some promoters like, oh, it's 10 grand to bring the insiders in. I think I could do it. I think we can get 50, or 500 people in here, and we'll charge $20 a person. And they start doing the math, and they're like, oh, this is going to be easy. We got 5 RN and insiders coming in. We can sell this for this much and blah, 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 blah. And then concession stands and yada, yada. In fact, we might even make money on this. And then, but they're just kind of like a little church. Like their youth group is, 30 kids. And and so then I don't know where they would like come up with the money, like go to their pastor, then they partner with other churches, and like every church would like kick in $3 grand.
Car. Somebody gets a second mortgage.
Yeah.
Take out a HELOC. That stuff happened a lot.
Yeah. And that was that negative, impactful that, like, looking back, it wasn't when the band was going, it was after that. I think Nate and I, like a few of us were catching up once. We hadn't seen each other in a couple of years. We were sitting around talking, and it was just like, man, how many youth groups did we bankrupt?
Yeah.
Like dozens of youth groups that it was just like, you took all their money. They had worked, and they had, hey, we have $2,000 in our youth group budget. Well, boop, that was gone. And like the show didn't turn out the way they thought, and they didn't make. So it was like that stuff that you're like, oh, that sucked.
Yeah, I mean, there were some of them that had figured it out, like Greg Tassell. That dude was legit. There was a guy in Columbus. Did you play that church in Columbus? It's an old Methodist church. Some church in Columbus. I'm trying to think what the dude's name was.
Yeah, I'm sure we did, because I remember going down and doing, like, there was a big radio station, big Christian, like, alternative radio station. So I know that we were down there because we would, Radio U, because we would do, like, spots and interviews and stuff like that there.
You got to wake up at 6 a.m. to go on the radio.
Yeah,
it's
terrible.
Just ridiculous. Like, pre-record that stuff, people.
Seriously.
Jeez.
Yep.
What rock star is gonna come in at 6 a.m. to be on your morning
No
show.
one. No one.
I mean, the only way this works is if you're from Eastern Standard Time and you're doing a call in to somebody on the West Coast, and they're like, it's at 7 a.m. Do you think you can handle it? And you're like, that's 10 here.
Yeah.
I might be
You'll be
able
like,
to.
I will already have eaten breakfast, drank my coffee, and pooped. Yes, I'll be ready.
Twice. Yeah.
To poop twice.
Pooped twice. Yeah. I just that was cool though. That radio station, that there were some pastors too that got it. You know, like they knew how to promote a show. It was always those shows, they'd be in like some little town and they were just like, if we have this concert, we'll bring so many kids into our youth group, but didn't know how to promote a show. You know, they weren't putting out flyers. They weren't calling other youth groups. All those promoters at that time, they had lists, you know, they had email lists and they had phone numbers to call for other youth pastors. And they had actual mailers, you know, they'd send stuff out to people saying like, here's all our concerts for this year. You should come to this one or whatever. And people planned ahead. But these guys that were just like, you know, they got in their head to do a show, didn't know what they were doing, and spent all their youth budget.
Yeah.
It was hard.
It was hard. It was awful.
I think most of the time, we would walk away from those things. Like we would just see if they could pay for our expenses and then walk away. I'm going to say this though. We played. So when we reformed, we went through a period where. So I used to, you know, we talked about how we're self-managed in Five Iron. So we got a manager right when we reformed because we could afford it because of the Kickstarter. And we were like, well, let's see what this is like. And I used to do all the T-shirts. I used to order all the merch and usually design it just because it was cheaper for me to do it. You know, like I had an art minor and I could figure out how to do Illustrator. They weren't the best, but you know, like it wasn't like the band was willing to pony up $1,000 for a T-shirt design or anything.
Yeah.
So I was just doing it. Even $200, you know, our band would be like, "Oh, I don't think we can afford it." So we, you know, I would do that, and then I got so burned out on our last tour. You know, 8 years later, I was like, I don't want to do merch because I was having to drop ship. And like just crazy amounts of stuff every night and, you know, yell at people's wives because they weren't watching the table or something. Not yell, have a nice discussion. Like
aggressively encourage.
Hey, no one is watching our table. And this is why you're on the tour bus.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Not just because you love this man. It's
also
and because
you want to see the
help.
States. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a bit rough.
Hey, because we can get you a Greyhound ticket and send you back home, and you could do the exact same thing.
No, I just feel like I'm a little bit. I get in trouble for this as a director of nursing that I'm a little direct with people sometimes, and you know, if something needs to be said, I don't like the anxiety of just being like, how am I going to do this? I'm just like, I just got to get this off my chest because I don't want to sit here with stomach acid coming up because I have to tell this person this thing. So I would just be like, hey, can we talk about this? And then, you know, we get upset. They wanted me to like tell their husbands and their husband like, honey, please do this for me. But I wasn't. I was just getting in trouble. So we got
a manager.
We got a manager, and I was like, I don't want to do that. But Brad was like, yeah, I'll do it. I want to do that. Because his job before it was just mailing out stuff. So he's taking it all on, and he's doing a good job. But
nice.
I don't have a job. Maybe I'll try booking us. So for about 2 years, probably a year. It might have gone 2 years. I was booking us. And at first it was super easy because we did the Kickstarter. Everybody was really excited, calling us, lots of shows. Tim Tabor called me. He was like, man, I can get you guys shows all the time. So Tim ended up acting as a promoter for a ton of these shows. We were playing with House of Heroes, where it would just be like, like fly out to LA, play a huge show at the Glass House, and then play House of Blues in San Diego, stuff like that. It was going great. But I booked a show because this guy reached out to me. He was like, it was right after the Aurora Theater shooting in Denver.
Okay.
This guy calls. He's like, I'm in charge of doing the official benefit show for this. I'm going to give you guys this much money. And it was a lot. He's like, because we have a lot of corporate sponsors, a lot of people are getting behind this, and it's going to be huge. He's like, it's possibly going to be at Mile High Stadium. This is what he's selling me.
Okay.
Al Gore is going to be there. Mitt Romney is going to be there. Maybe who? I'm trying to think who was. It wasn't. I'm trying to think who was president. I think Obama was. No,
It wasn't George W. I think it was George W.
Obama came in 2012, right? I think it was Obama. I mean, it wasn't like Obama was coming. I think he was like Mitt Romney, because it must have been later, because Mitt Romney ran against in the second time, right? Against
I
Obama.
think so.
And Al Gore, he was like, we're trying to bring everybody together. They're just going to say some things, and we need a Denver band. We need a good, solid Denver band to be the headliner. And he was a Christian. He was like, we're going to make this kind of be a thing of faith and stuff, but we're going to slip it under the radar. And we have all these corporate sponsors. It's going to be great. So I pitched it to the band. I was like, man, this guy just contacted me about this is what it looks like. So they're like, hands down, everybody's like, yeah, let's do it. It ended up being us playing at like kind of a dive bar with another band that this guy managed. No Al Gore. And
no Mile High.
No Mile High. We ate it. Like, there's no Mitt Romney, no Al Gore. There were probably about 200 people there, which is a small show for us in Denver, because nobody knew about it. And then it was just like this guy and his band friend that he managed just fanboying over us. And they didn't even fit. It was like a metal band, like a grindcore band.
Seriously?
So, yeah. But they loved Five Iron, and so they were all fanboys. And then, like, I think all we had to pay for, we probably made this in selling merch, maybe. But I think all we had to pay for was Sonny and Dennis and I, our plane tickets. And then Sonny and I had one night of a hotel because Dennis stayed with his folks. So it wasn't too bad. But then 2 years later, there's a festival in Colorado, and we get asked to play it. It's going to be this big festival because, Christian festival. It's at this park in Centennial. Nicole Nordeman, is that a person? I think she was playing.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
She was headlining. So we get there, everything's put together. A lot of money and infrastructure has gone into this. It's looking good, except hardly anybody shows up. Maybe 200 people. So it turns out it's the same promoter. And
oh my gosh.
We get to the point where Dennis is like, now I didn't book this one. Somehow it slid in past our manager at the time, and we're like, we put on a good show. It was hot. We didn't sell a lot of merch, but we know we're gonna get stiffed on getting paid. And Dennis is like, man, I do not want to go talk to this guy. And I was just like, I'll do it. I'll do it. Like
Yeah.
this is what I have to do because I do it. I was a director of nursing. I had to fire people all the time. And so I just went to the guy and I was like, man, hey, I know you tried your hardest. I know you've got a lot of people to pay on stuff, but you've got sponsors and you did this to us last time and we ate the cost. You got to pay us, bro. And he was crying, but he wrote the check. And Dennis
Good.
immediately cashed that thing.
Heck yeah.
I'm pretty
Heck
sure that
yeah.
guy's done promoting. I hope so. And I feel
hope so,
bad,
too.
but also, like, don't do that to bands. So,
Yeah, it is. It was one of those things you always knew. You always knew, like, you get your itinerary and stuff, and then you start showing up into the town, and you're like, this isn't a mega church. This isn't a mega church, man. Like, when you're
Yeah.
pulling in, and it's like you pull into that farm, like that farm type Baptist church,
yeah,
where it's kind of like a one
planning-
big room.
middle of nowhere
Yeah.
in Arkansas.
Yeah, and it's that one big room church. Then in the basement is like a multi-purpose room and a couple of classrooms and a nursery. And you're just like, oh no.
The green
they're-
room is the nursery.
Their green room's the nursery. That's right. And so
What
and
smells
you're
like
just like,
diapers?
oh crap. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's the same as our tour bus, but
You have
Exactly.
Desitin, just in case you're
yeah.
chafed.
Oh, Desitin is great. Even as a 44-year-old dude,
Yeah.
I love me some Desitin or some A&D ointment.
Yeah, I wish I knew about it like back in the day, like in this sweaty,
Yeah, me too.
sweaty where you're like you don't want your legs to touch each other because your pants are sagging and you're wearing
Yes.
you're in some sweaty festival all day and you're like I
Yeah.
can't walk anymore.
Or I wish back then boxer briefs were a thing.
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah.
we had like the baggy boxers
Yep.
that like never, like the elastic was on your waist, but nothing else. If you were wearing your Jenkos, nothing touched your leg. Like you were just absolutely like free balling everything.
Your
It was
legs
just
touching
too,
each other.
yeah,
and your
yeah. Your
balls
legs would be
sticking to
touching.
'em.
Yep. Yep. It was awful. Yeah. Whoever
Yeah.
invented the boxer brief was a brilliant man.
Agreed.
Brilliant man. Oh, so great.
Mhm.
Well, you guys, I think we're going to bring the paid portion to a close. We are hitting our time where we got to go. We got family stuff to do. So, Patreon members, subscribers, I want to thank you. My dog's down here growling. I want to thank you guys so much. Again, me and Reese, I mean, he'll speak for himself, but I just can't believe I get to do this. And we might get 1,000 listens a week. We might get 100 listens a week. We get 1,000, but it's just it amazes me that A, you guys support us, B, you listen, 3, that you do discussion groups and post memes. I got like my first meme done. Someone did like this awesome meme of me with like the Drake thing. I don't know if you seen those Drake things where like one he's like
Yeah.
no, and then the other one he's like yeah. So someone did that. Like I was saying no to Gatorade, but I was saying yes to a funnel and a potato chip bag. And yeah, so like I think it's so great. And like the Pickle and Boot discussion page, like the memes people are posting about it, or people then go back and discuss what we talk about. Like just to be a part of this, and I call it this silly little community, it's just growing. It's a ton of fun. I get on there every single
It really
day.
is.
I check the Instagram every single day, answer messages, go on the Facebook, all that stuff. We're trying to get better at all of it. And hopefully we will one day. But guys, again, I just thank you so much for being a part of this. It's so much fun to do. I love sitting down with Reese a couple of times a week and just yapping and recording it. It's so much fun. So thank you.
This is the best part of my week, Joe. Spider-Man
Good,
up.
me too. Good, me. There you go. Boom.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Have a good one, guys. See you.
For more shows like this one, visit rockcandyrecordings.com.